Chelsea from Classroom Sunshine, and welcome back to my channel. For those of you that are new here, I am 22 years old and I live in Florida. I'm currently in my third semester of my bachelor's program, and I start my senior internship student teaching in January, and I'm so excited. Then I graduate in May, and I hopefully start teaching in August 2020, and I can't wait. I am beyond excited. And yes, so right now it is currently about 11 a.m. and for those of you that know me know how I am about my coffee. And you guys know I can't function a day without coffee, so I made my cup and I'm good to go. So many of you have been asking me a little bit about what my process with taking my certification exams was, and I have been a little bit crazy with life. Things have just been going on. It's one thing after the other for a little bit, but I am finally here recording. Oh, excuse me. But I am finally here recording this video so I can give you guys all of my tips, my tools, my story, and here we go. So with my program, we had to have the exams passed, all of them, passed by about the middle of our third semester, so that's about now. We had to have it passed now and ready to go. I wanted to start taking my exams earlier than waiting last minute for it, just in case I didn't pass something, or something came up and I had to reschedule, just anything at all. So I actually started taking my exams over the summer before my third semester. So in case I did fail something, I did have to wait a month before I can retake any portion of the test. So I wanted to go ahead and get that time and make sure I'm good to go with that. So between the first and second semesters, the courses that we were taking for the program, they sorry, it's morning and I'm drinking coffee and I don't know what's going on with my voice. But anyways, so between the first and second semesters of my program, my professors did an amazing job with kind of preparing us for the exams and giving us sample questions, sample quizzes and tests, and just kind of preparing us on what the test looks like and how we should have our mindset when taking it and things like that. They also gave us a resource that I used to study for my exam. They gave us the NavaEd books. I'll put a little picture here of it. And I can link the Amazon link down below of the two books that we use. In the state of Florida, we have the subject area exam, and then we have the professionalism exam. The professional exam is more of kind of laws and scenarios, and if this situation happened, what would you do in this situation? You would choose the best option, or different teaching practices, things like that. It's more scenario based. The subject area exam has ELA, has math, science, and social studies. So it's a 4-part exam. So we had to have all 4 parts passed before, in order to pass the entire exam. So if we failed one, thank God we didn't have to retake the entire exam again. We would only retake the one section. So throughout my the first 2 semesters, anytime there was a quiz, or the professors would give us a question about from the exam, or a sample question from the exam, or things like that, I would usually write them down, and I'd write down the options, and I'd write down the answer, and I'd go back and study it. So I would take the book that they gave us, which is NavaEd, and they have kind of a study guide of what is on each part of the test, but then they also have sample tests. So they have practice tests that you can take. They had 3 tests for each subject area, so 3 for math, 3 for science, 3 for ELA, and 3 for social studies. And I went through without studying or anything. I went through and I took the first test of all 4 sections. Whatever questions I got wrong, I would then start making flashcards for them. So if I got, who were the founding fathers? If I got that question wrong, then I went ahead and made a flashcard. The founding fathers were A, B, and C, or whatever. So that's what I started doing. And every day I'd go back and I would look over the flashcards, and whatever I got wrong, I'd I'd re-study that, and it was a lot of repetition, a lot of it. Or if I still wouldn't get it, then I'd go back into the NavaEd book and I would go into like whatever section of the study guide had the information that I needed, and I would start studying that, highlight key things, I'd write notes, bullet points, things like that. I'm very like, I need to write it down. If I don't write it down, it's not gonna stick in my head. I can't just read it and just be like, okay, yep, I got it. That's just not how my brain works. So I also am big with colors. So that is another component that really helps me study and kind of retain the information. Sorry. It's morning. I need it. I'm sorry. So with my flashcards, each subject was also a different color on the flashcards. So like social studies was orange, science was green, math was yellow, and I think ELA was like hot pink or something, like neon colors. So whenever there was a section I wanted to study, I'd pull out, you know, that stack of colored index cards and I'd study that and kind of go over that. So that was pretty much my entire like second semester, was just a lot of studying, taking notes, taking different practice tests and things like that. So I scheduled my first like set of tests. I took the professional and I took the subject area both on the same day. So I was there for a good like 5-6 hours, I believe. I can't remember exactly, but one of those two. It was a long day, but I wanted to kind of get it all done in one day so I can just kind of get it out the way. If there was anything that I missed or had to retake, then I would have the time to do that. You know, I took it all around, I think it was in May. I want to say it was in May. So my college courses had just finished and all this information was very fresh in my mind. So I wanted to take it right away. So I took it in May and, you know, I took the test and I felt pretty confident about the professional, and I felt pretty confident about math. Math is my strong point, like my strong subject, so I felt pretty confident about those. ELA, science, and social studies, I was like, I hope I'm doing the best that I can. I hope I'm picking the right choices, and we'll see how that goes. I didn't get my scores right away when I took the test. For whatever reason, the month that I took it, like Pearson, which is like this testing center company, I guess, for whatever reason, there was a delay on getting my scores back for that month. I don't know why. So I had to wait a month before I even found out my scores. So I didn't know if I would reschedule for the following month to go ahead and take the next test, or if I, you know, did pass them and I didn't need to reschedule. So that was messing with my brain a lot because I was just like, I don't know what to do. Like, should I just go ahead and reschedule in case I did fail something? But what if I, you know, I don't know what I failed? I just didn't know. So I waited. So luckily, my test scores came back 3 weeks before, or 3 weeks later instead of the full month. So when I got my test scores, they email you and they're like, your test scores are ready. They'll be posted at 10 p.m. this night, whatever night that was. So I remember I was at my mom's house and, you know, my whole family was there, and I got that email and I was like, oh my gosh. And my family was like, what, you got your scores? I was like, no, but I get my scores tonight at 10 p.m. and I'm stressing. So I got that email at like 7 p.m. So for like the next 3 hours, I was stressing and I was like, oh my goodness, I don't know what to expect. I don't know how I did. And I was all over the place. You know, I tried to kind of clear out my mind so I wasn't like freaking out so much. And around 10 p.m. that night, I did get the test scores and I, you know, logged on into my account and I looked at them and I saw pass, fail, pass. And I was like, oh my God, like I failed. And I was like, well, you know, and I got really bummed out and I started to cry just because at that point, I like immediately started panicking and I was like, what if I fail again? What if I fail again? And I'm not able to pass it and I'm not able to continue on in the program, and all these different things started coming up in my head, and that's just how I am. I overreact and I'm very like, I'm a planner, and that's just how I am. So my family was like, no, like you're gonna be fine. It's only one section. Go back, you know, we'll study and, you know, retake it and you'll be fine. So the part that I did fail was social studies. I had a feeling while I was taking the exam that I was gonna fail the social studies part because I truly don't remember really in grade school my social studies courses. I don't remember, like, the only thing I do remember was doing a geography project, I think in my freshman year of high school, or 8th grade, one of those two, and we had to make a map of the United States and label things. That's like the most that I remember of social studies. I don't remember going over the Declaration of Independence. I don't remember going over different laws and acts and, you know, all that stuff. I don't really remember that. So when I did take the course in college of social studies, like, that was all fresh to me. Like, I was really writing notes, and like, I was really just stressing specifically with social studies. So anyways, I, realized that I failed it. So I was like, all right, like, I'm going to study. I'm going to every single day, like, I'm going to memorize basically this book, like the social studies part of it. I went ahead and I went on the next day and I rescheduled. I had to wait a month, which it was already 3 weeks. So I rescheduled it for 2 weeks later. So that was going to be about 5 weeks. And I was like, all right, like, I need to pass it now. Now we're going into July, and like, school starts in August, and I really want to have my test passed by August because I don't want to have the stress of starting new coursework and starting to prepare everything for a senior internship and have to stress still about passing this test. It was just something like I just wanted the weight off my shoulders. I remember I scheduled the exam for like 12 o'clock noon because I wanted to take my morning to like eat a good breakfast and, study even more and, write some last minute notes if I needed to, or highlight some last minute things and all that stuff. So I wake up that morning, my heart's already beating. My heart's already I'm already like shaking and all of that. And so anyways, I try to cool down. I go to the testing center and they're like, oh, you're back. And I was like, yeah, I'm back. Don't remind me. I'm here again. And they're like, what happened? And I was like, well, I failed, a part of the test, the social studies part, so I have to retake it, and here I am. So they were very supportive though. They were like, you've got this, don't worry about it. I also went to the testing center in my college, so I've seen these faces before, they've seen me before, so. But anyways, they were really, really supportive, and they were like, clear your head, you've got this, really focus on the questions, take your time, and, it'll be good. I'm like, okay, cool. So in my head, I thought that the questions were basically going to be the same, which usually they were. Like, from me studying the book to actually taking the test the first time, the questions were like almost identical, so I felt a little bit better. When I went into the testing center this time and I logged on and started the test, the very first question I had never seen in my life. I can't even tell you what it was exactly, but I had never seen it, and immediately I shut down and I was like, I am going to fail this again. There's no way I'm gonna pass this, because I was like, I've never seen this question before, so I don't even know what to put for this. I was like, what if all the other questions are exactly like this and I have no idea? So I started stressing and I started tapping, and I was like, and I'm not good with tests. Like, every time I have to take a test, I freak out, and I don't know what it is, but I just do. But I started tapping, I started closing my eyes, and I started scratching my head, and I was just like, oh my God, stressing. So anyway, so I took my best guess, and sure enough, the next questions after that, they were just questions that I had never seen before. I don't remember studying. I don't remember seeing them in the NavaEd study book. I did not know, and I was so frustrated at this point. I was like, wow, I'm really gonna fail this test again. So I'm doing it and whatever, and then I have 3 questions left, and I have 2 minutes left, and I was like, oh my gosh, I am cutting it close. So I, took the best guess on the last 2, and I submitted the test, and I just kind of sat there for a minute, and I just thought to myself, what am I gonna do? Like, is teaching not for me? If I can't even pass this test, like, obviously I need to start looking at something else. I was like, but I don't know what else I want to do. Like, this is what I've been devoting my life to. And I just like sat there for a minute. I was like, you know what? It is what it is. I'm gonna figure it out. It's gonna be fine. So I get up, you know, I turned my stuff in. He was like, how do you think you did? And I was like, honestly, I really don't know. I was like, I'm probably gonna have to come back again, and that's it. And he was like, well, I have your test scores right here. And I was like, you have my test scores? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, there's not a delay anymore? Like, I was expecting there to be a delay. He's like, no, there's not a delay. And I was like, great. So I get to stress even faster now. So so he's like, all right, you know, you need to sign out, you know, you need to sign out and all this other stuff. And okay, so I did it, and he gives me my paper. And originally, like, on your test score report, it doesn't say pass or fail. It says pass or not pass. So either way, the word pass is in there, but you might miss the not pass part, basically. So, you know, I look at my test score report and I read pass, and I was just like, oh, okay, and I just left it at that. But then I look at it again, and I was like, that says pass. And he looks at me, he's like, yeah, congratulations. I was like, oh my God, I passed it. And I broke down in the test center, and I started crying. I was just bawling. I was like, I didn't think I was gonna pass it. I was so nervous. I didn't know things on the test, and that, you know, I thought I didn't know. I guess I took a good guess. And, you know, and he was like, you did good, like, congratulations, one step closer. Very supportive. And I went outside, I called my family, and I was like, I passed it, and I was crying, and it was good, you know. So I was really excited, and then immediately I went online. I downloaded, like, the official score report copy. I emailed my professors and advisors at the college, and I was like, hey, got my scores, I passed everything, I'm gonna email it to you right now so you can submit it and make sure I'm good to go. And they're like, congratulations, and, you know, we did all that. And yeah, that's pretty much my story. Like I said, it is stressful, it's nerve-wracking, it's all of it. But you can't give up, and you've got this. And if you're about to take your test, or you know that you have to take it eventually, you're just not there yet, that is fine. I'm telling you right now, just relax. You've got this. You know, your college prepares you for it. You prepare yourself. The exam name is FTCE. I'm not exactly sure what that stands for. If I find the name, I'll put it in the description down below. But that's the exam. So, like I said, NavaEd makes the books for both tests, the professional and the subject area, for the FTC exams. So, like I said, I'm gonna put that down below. But if that's the exam you're taking, you've got this. If it's not, either way, you've got it. I wish I can tell you, like, what to use to study and things like that, but I don't know exactly what's all out there. I just know what's for Florida, so there's that. But like I said, the biggest tips that I can give you when it comes to studying for your exams, one is listen to your professors. They've been there, they've done that, they know, you know? So when they give you tips, or they give you practice tests or things like that, take them, use them. Your professors are there to help you, and they're a resource. Sorry, I can't speak. Second tip, I personally made flashcards, and I made color coordinated flashcards. I don't know what it is about the different colors, but I personally can't really study with plain white flashcards just because I just can't. So I use color flashcards. So if that's how you are, I would suggest doing that. And, you know, you can write the question on one side, write the answer on the other side, or put, like, keywords to help you remember, things like that. And third, like I said, for the FTCE, the NavaEd book was very, very, like, similar to the actual test. It was like almost perfect. So I would recommend you know, using the NavaEd book and studying with that. And you know, do the practice tests and, you know, do the study guides and things like that. So those are the 3 things that I did, and luckily now my tests are all passed and I'm good to go for senior internship, and I can't wait. And I hope you liked this video. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Also follow me on my Instagram at Classroom Sunshine. I'm very much active there. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave it down in the comment below. Send me a personal message, anything at all, and I will definitely get back to you. And I can't wait to share more with you, and I hope you guys share with me, and I hope that you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!